If you've watched When Life Gives You Tangerines, you know there are multiple lessons you can learn from it. And if you haven't, welcome. Welcome to the club. We invite you with open hearts and open minds. When Life Gives You Tangerines is such a heartfelt show. It's something that I have not stopped talking about since I started watching it. I talk about it obviously through YouTube, then I talk to my family about it, I upload shorts about it. It's just one of those shows that makes you feel like it's going to take over your life, at least for the duration that you're watching it. And then I'm pretty sure once I'm done with it, I will reminisce about it for a very long time. The setup of this video is a little bit different from my normal ones. Usually I just do a review and that's it. I wanted to do a video on some of the lessons that we learned from When Life Gives You Tangerines and then do the predictions at the end. So stay tuned until the end for the predictions for the season finale. Before we get started, just a shameless plug. My name's Nivi. Thank you so much for watching this. If you like videos like this, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I do post videos every week at the very least. Let's go! Number 1, nothing stays the same. One of the biggest things that I've noticed in this show is that nothing stays the same forever. For example, the main characters, Aesun and her husband, Gwang-suk, are both extremely poor in the beginning, and as time goes on, they start to change a little bit better, have more prospects, earn more money so that they can actually increase their socioeconomic status a little bit. On the other hand, there's Boo Sang-il, who's Aesun's political rival. He was the one that she was initially going to marry, and then as time went on, he becomes really bitter about that. Not that he loves her or anything, it's just, how dare she reject me? And he stays throughout the beginning of the show very politically savvy, but also at the same time has a lot of money, and that's one of the reasons that so many girls were after him. And then as decades go by, you start to see him lose some of his money, his respect. A lot of the things that he cared about changed quite a lot for him. A life lesson to remember: nothing stays the same. Lesson number 2, money might not be everything, but it's pretty important. No, hold on. It's not necessarily the money, it's what money can make people do, what people do for money. For example, Kwon Myung's boyfriend, that is Aesun's daughter, ends up going to Seoul National University, ends up having a boyfriend who is from a very wealthy family. But as we watch the series, you realize, yes, he is a really good person, but the pressure of his family and what that does to their relationship is astronomical. The way that her boyfriend's mother treats her is crazy, to a point that she's like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. The mom is crazy. And I think normally I would have said, just stick it out, because you're not really marrying the family, you're marrying the person. But if that person doesn't stick up for you, isn't there for you, that's more telling than anything else. On the other hand, she meets Chun-seob, who is who's a very low-income artist. He has a girlfriend that is refusing to marry him, doesn't want to be she wants to be with him, but makes him feel guilty for not having money. And she goes on blind dates that her father sets her up on, knowing that eventually she's going to marry this rich guy rather than marry this starving artist. It's crazy to realize what some people will do just for money. And I understand that, we don't live in a fairy tale land. Money is important, but it's not everything. For example, Aesun could have married somebody who was very rich. She chose to marry Gwang-suk, who was very sweet, didn't have a lot of money, but he's very hardworking, and they were still able to have a very happy life. Money is not everything. Number 3, the trauma of losing someone is crazy. Like, you will not be able to forget that person for a very long time. Gwang-suk and Aesun lose someone that they deeply care about, and that's a grief that stays with them for a very, very long time. Even after 30 years, they're not able to forget about it. It's crazy that even after decades and decades, you were still able to think about that person and still feel the raw emotions you felt when you lost them. It's horrible. Number 4, you have to learn to value yourself. I think one of the biggest things throughout this show is to the idea that you have to learn to value yourself before somebody else will. If you treat yourself like you don't matter, like you're worth nothing, other people will also treat you like you are worth nothing. For example, the boyfriend that I was just talking about, he felt like because he didn't have money, he doesn't deserve to have this wonderful partner in his life. Same thing with a few of the other characters. They feel like just because they are poor doesn't mean it means that they don't deserve a good life. That's not really true. If you don't value yourself, other people will not too. Then that way you're going to accept any little modicum of love and affection that anyone will show you. If you value yourself and you understand you deserve everything in the world, you won't accept subpar situations. Number 5, some things just don't work out, and that's okay. For example, Kwon Myung has this wonderful relationship that she's so excited for. She was with him for multiple years, and the end there, it doesn't work out because of X, Y, and Z, whatever it was. But that also made it so that when time came and she was ready to move on, something better came along. Just because some things didn't work out doesn't mean that it's the end all. There will be other things, better things that will happen for you. For example, I went to college my first year at a different college and it didn't go so hot. There were multiple changes that happened. I wasn't ready for it. So I had to transfer to a different college for my following year. And that's where I met my wife. And it's the best thing that could have happened to me. Number 6, it's your life. Literally, it is your life. You get to live it. You get to decide what happens to it. There's this one character, going back to the boyfriend. The mother is the one that basically chases away any good opportunity for him. She's like, well, it's my life. You're my pride. I gave you everything you have. And coming from an Indian family, that hits home. It's very traumatizing for many people to hear those words. But you have to remember, it is your life. Whatever happens for you, whatever happens in your life is your decision. You can't let other people rule your life and make decisions for you, because ultimately you're the one that will pay the price for it. Going back to the boyfriend, the daughter refuses to marry him for many reasons, and I think that was a great decision on her part. But you see decades later that he is so unhappy and he resents his mother. The mother's like, how could you do this to me? You are my pride and joy. I gave you everything. And she starts to realize that the decisions that she made for her son ultimately only made him unhappy, and then it made her unhappy. Choose to live your life the way you want. Don't let others rule your life. Number 7, sometimes you have to stand for some things. Look, it's great to be nice and wonderful, and I try very hard to be a good person and try to be the mediator for everything. I hate conflict. It's like the worst thing. And yet sometimes you have to take a stand. Sometimes you have to be there and say, no, this is not okay. And especially for people that don't like confrontation like I do, it is that much more difficult, but that makes it that much more important that you stand for what you believe in. And there are times you have to stand up to the people you love, and that is one of the hardest things. For example, honestly, if the boyfriend had stood up to the mother, maybe he would have had a happier life. Same thing with the painter. If he had understood that, no, you are able to choose your own life. You shouldn't let other people treat you this way. You'd have to take a stand. That would have erased a lot of the discomfort and unhappiness he had for himself. Number 8, the last but not the least. Perhaps one of the biggest things you can learn to do is realize that life goes on. No matter what happens to you, whether it's sadness, you lose someone, something amazing happens to you, life will still go on. I know there's a lot of people, including myself, that take a lot of comfort in the fact that nothing stays the same. It's a good thing and a bad thing. If you're in a very difficult situation, that's a great way to look at things. Like, this will not stay the same. As you start to change things, as things start to develop, you find more options, things will change. And then the same thing on the reverse end is, if you're extremely happy, I know that this is just a fleeting moment, but that also makes it so that I will cherish it that much more. There you have it. These are just some of the lessons you learn from When Life Gives You Tangerines. Honestly, in every episode, every scene, there's so much you can learn. I'm sure there are many things that I have missed, so please let me know in the comments below what I've missed. I'd be super stoked to hear about what you thought. Let's go to all the predictions I have for the finale. I'm super excited to talk about this. I really want to know what you guys think as well. Let me know in the comments below if you agree or disagree. So one of the main things that we learned throughout the show is that the dad is getting sick. If you remember in one of the scenes, he's getting, I think, some sort of procedure that's happening. I just have a feeling he's going to get sick. He is too loved to not be sick. I just feel like something's gonna happen and he will pass away. I am not looking forward to that at all, but I just have this feeling that it's going to be a very bittersweet ending. I just know it. The second one is I really am thinking that the son of Aesun and Kwang-suk are going to have some sort of disagreement, like a blowout. It's been increasing and increasing in the last few episodes, and it's just going to blow out in the last episode. And if you remember, in the latest episode, he ends up coming back from the army and has a girl pregnant. So that's, I mean, it's already leading up to that. I just want to see what the blowout is about. I'm pretty sure it's going to perhaps be the different treatment that they've had for their oldest daughter and him. They do treat them pretty differently. And I love that the aunties in the show remind Ace enough that she's not perfect. She definitely hates that the son brought a lot of embarrassing things to her. For example, he's selling parts of cars in high school. He's trying to bribe some other kids, selling these things. He's very obsessed with money. I understand because his family was poor. He wants to make sure that they have enough money and he has enough money. The emphasis on the money part was kind of really sad. Kwon-myung, the daughter, and the painter, played by Kim Seon-woo, I think, are definitely going to end up together. It's been building up for a while now. He's kind of amazing. He's very sweet, very kind to her. He's nice to very other people as well. I just kind of see that dynamic. There's huge chemistry between the two. And he's been kind of slowly been introduced to us throughout the series, and their chemistry just starts building and building over time. I'm just really excited to see if they end up together. I'm pretty sure one of the bigger things mystery in this show is who she ends up with, kind of almost like Reply 1988. I'm really curious to see who she ends up with, but I'm pretty sure it's the painter, and I feel like that would be justice. At the same time, I'm also really curious to see how he does with the dad, because the dad did not like the ex-boyfriend, and rightfully so, obviously. He knew that, he didn't stand up. I'm super excited to see how it all ends, and I'm pretty 99% sure it's going to be a bittersweet moment, a bittersweet ending, but I'm not looking forward to that. But at the same time, I'm I kind of get it. The whole show is very bittersweet, very cherish the small moments, think about life and the precious moments you have in it. So I'm super excited. Those are the 3 predictions I have for the finale. Please let me know in the comments below what predictions you have, if you agree or disagree, and I'm super excited to see what you think. Please like and subscribe this video if you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up. I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you so much. He ends up what's her name? Kyung-myung. The daughter